All right, so Matt, Tim, and I are just going for a walk, a random conversation. So one of the things we were talking about is the DWI checkpoints. As you know, last year they suspended that stuff because of the COVID. This year now here in New Jersey, everything's open again.
And
so
they need the money.
They need the money, the revenue. And now I just said to Matt, I think that they're going to wait a little bit since we just reopened. They're going to wait and see if anything spikes with the COVID. And if it does, I think then they're going to start sending money out to do this thing. So
we'll be there.
We will be there, and we're going to be doing a little few different things at the checkpoint. We're really going to be exercising our First Amendment free speech.
Testing it.
Testing it. That's exactly right. And they'll be holding signs. And some of those signs, they may not like what I have to say on that sign. Some of the signs may have your rights on there, what to do when encountering police.
I mean, you know, we also have the freedom in this country, freedom of the press, freedom to print. I mean, what's to say that we don't print out business cards or index cards that are advice cards that basically that they can hand to the officer. It says, I'm exercising my Fifth Amendment right to remain silent.
Exactly.
That would be interesting.
What would they do? What would, you know, here's the interesting thing. Here in the state of New Jersey, the Motor Vehicle Code 39, whatever it is, says that you must exhibit your license upon demand from the cops. So if you pull into a DWI checkpoint and you only roll your window down a little bit
to give it to him,
and you give him your license, your registration, and your insurance,
and he can identify that you're the driver.
And he can identify that you're the driver, and you have a good inspection sticker. Guess what? It's done. It's over. And you hold the sign up saying, I will not answer questions.
I will not answer any
I
further
invoke my
questions.
Fifth. Here in New Jersey, you have to articulate that you're invoking your rights.
Yes.
You can't just remain silent. You have to tell the cop, I'm not answering any questions. And that's where they get you. They say, oh, you're slurring your words. Well, fuck you. I'll hold the sign up, and the sign will say, I'm not answering questions. And I don't consent to this thing. Imagine if 100 cars pulled into the lot and did that.
You'd really have quite an issue on there.
Right. Now, the next problem we have here in New Jersey, as many of you may already know, marijuana is legal now.
That creates two problems, actually.
So that creates a problem. It creates a problem for Fido, Canine Fido.
And what else does it create a problem for? The odor exception.
The odor exception, that's another thing that our Attorney General said, smell of pot is not a justification, it's not probable cause.
To search.
To search a car. So now you got all these mutts out there, these flea bags that they exploited, these vicious canine animals. I feel bad for them because they're being exploited. They're the sacrificial lamb. But anyway, they use these dogs to circumvent search warrants. So these dogs are trained to detect marijuana. So now the next question is, what are they going to do with all these dogs now? Is the dog going to be able to go up to the car and say, Matt, Tim, and John Van Dyke have over 6 ounces of pot? Because here in New Jersey now, you can possess up to 6 ounces of marijuana.
I'm not familiar with the parameters of what's legal.
Well, that's what I read. So we'll just assume that the 6 ounces is correct. So the smell of marijuana is not a justification to get into anybody's car. And we all know that the DWI checkpoints
is a pretext.
Is a pretext to corral you into spots so they can intimidate you. We've proven it, shown it, demonstrated in videos where the car pulls up, one person's in the car, you got a cop on the passenger side, a cop at your window, all trying to stick their head in the window.
But not somebody else running your documents. And
right, they hand your documents to somebody, and then you got the jerk with the dog coming by and the dog scratching up your car, and he's trying to get the dog the secret hand job so he knows to
bark.
Yeah, you know what he does? You know what he does to the dog? He goes like this. Gets a secret hand and the dog goes, oh yeah! And starts wagging his tail and getting a woody because you just gave him the secret signal, and then that gives him justification. Well, they just lost that justification.
That's right.
So what are they going to do now? And now another issue is, you know, motor vehicles is so screwed up. What about people whose cars can't get inspected or don't have money to go pay a private place?
That still have expired temp tags on their car.
Or expired plates. I mean, everything here in New Jersey was like extended. I know it happened with me, my registration was running out, and I got an extension on it. It was like, I don't know how many months. They gave us like another 90 days or something. And
I bet you that they'll issue the ticket and say, fight it. Knowing the way that they do things here in Monmouth County, it's exactly what they'll do. John, how many times, not to get you too off track, but how many times with the DUI checkpoint did they insistently deny that it was a pretext for revenue generation?
They denied every time. And when I got the officers' reports, we looked at it, and you see like maybe one or they never got more than two. Never got more than 2 arrests, and that doesn't mean that you're guilty. It just means that
And I believe one time, not to cut you off, but it was warrants, outstanding warrants for this and that.
Yeah, so that all that is to stop you so they can generate revenue with motor vehicle bullshit. See, this is how cops screw with you. This is why when you go out on audits and stuff, you hide your car. You don't take your car with you.
And if you're also smart, you don't bring your wallet with you, so you don't have ID.
Right. Well, yeah, you never take your ID. And that's why I said when I had the problem with this cop over here in Tinton Falls, and people say, oh, you gave your ID up and all that.
Because your car was parked right there.
Because my car's right there, and the car is their key to screwing with you.
We're not rich men, folks. We can't afford $100,000
they go next thing you know, you get a
balance.
ticket for a cracked windshield, your plate isn't on right, you got a bald tire, who the hell knows?
That's right.
And then they find some bogus, they lie and find some bogus thing, and next thing you know, your car's getting towed away. This is what the DWI checkpoint's about. It's all about revenue generation.
Tinton Falls, that day when you had the incident here on Easter, that could have turned into a $20,000 or $30,000 fight for you.
It could have been a very bad situation.
Yes.
So I handled it the way
That you had to.
I think I want to say I handled it accordingly. I did one thing at the end where I did the oink oink. Probably shouldn't have done that. It's always best not to use foul language, call the officer names and things like that. It's tough to do it when you're pissed off and you got them right there and you want to exercise your rights, but in the long run it doesn't look good for you when it gets played back in the courtroom.
No.
So always avoid that. But these DWI checkpoints, the state funds them, they give money to the towns that apply for it, and it generates...
Providing that they get the grant, unlike Monmouth County, they didn't get the money.
Well, that was the deal here in Monmouth County. Monmouth County commissioners allocated that money, $74,000, for the cops to get together and have a little party.
Because they never applied for the grant on time. That was another snafu that went down.
So your tax dollars money, in this case here, Monmouth County taxpayers were supplementing other towns. So again, if you're a town that didn't involve yourself in the checkpoints, you're supplementing the other towns.
I have to say that the DUI checkpoint, for somebody that saw it the first time, I would never believe that something that Naziistic or communistic would go on in the state of New Jersey.
Well, think about this, and we got to give Jen Combs a little credit on this. She actually started the video recording of the DWI checkpoints, but Matt and I took it to another level, which is we went out there, we documented, and Matt used his legal expertise.
We held them to account.
To analyze what is going on so that you can see what they're doing that's violating your rights. Because most of you idiots out there don't know what your rights are, okay? I'm sorry. You're majority of people out there watching my channel, or anybody out there, you're idiots. You don't know what your rights are. You answer the cops' questions. Yeah. You're afraid to invoke your rights. You say, well, you know, Gunston, I know all those things. Yeah, but you know what?
Oh, they're there to help us.
Right. But when the cop is standing there with his gun and all that stuff, you're going to be shitting in your pants. And it takes a seasoned person to deal with these kind of problems. And I got to say, when I was dealing with that nut job over here, was I nervous? I was more concerned with him shooting me, but beyond that, I wasn't getting tunnel vision. I was right on. I was focused because I just know all the law, a lot of stuff inside and out. And when you know it inside out, and you talk about it and you practice it, it becomes second nature. But most people get tunnel vision, and you screw up.
It's like even right now, if we were to be screwed with, I mean, we conduct ourselves professionally. Our hands would be in plain view. But I'm not answering any questions. They want to handcuff me? Go for it.
Yeah.
I'm not answering questions.
Go ahead. You want to arrest me? Go ahead.
Make me a little bit richer.
That's right. I'm looking for that retirement money.
We both are.
Right, exactly. So anyway, so we're going for a nice little walk over here at Monmouth Regional High School. There's a nice trail in the back.
But to be clear.
But that doesn't mean you people come down here and look for me.
And to be clear.
It's my private spot.
despite what the officer told Mr. Van Dyke on Easter, the trail that we're on is county property right now. This is not school property.
Yes, we're actually walking on county property. It's
Yep.
a Green Acres,
Yep. Yep.
but in a second we'll be on
School property.
school property.
And they had an awful tough time trying to draw the line as to where one started and one began.
Because he didn't know.
yeah.
He didn't know what the hell he was doing. He didn't know what he was talking about, okay?
No.
I know stupid when I see it. All right, I don't want to get on the thing anymore. I don't want to, I already
We're opening up
put
another
that
can of
fire
worms.
out. I don't want another fire getting started.
That's right. Well, to our crowds, we hope to see you at the DUI checkpoints. That's one place where we do invite you to come meet.
Yeah, always invite
The
everybody.
more
to
the
come.
merrier.
The more the merrier. We have a, Monmouth County's going to have the fair this year.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yep, and as you call, if many of you remember from the Gunnison channel, where I went out there for the first time ever to the fair, because I had never been to the Monmouth County Fair in my 55 plus years of living here. Never went to it. I go there and I got thrown out of the fair.
The first time.
Thrown out. I was almost out of the fair. I was all on the way out the door, and I got to the last display, and Officer Crackhead there, whatever his name was, from Iran, there was Iraq.
You dealt with another loose cannon.
That was another loose cannon. Several tours of Iraq. Oh boy. So I got thrown out. We went back the next year, and they practically rolled the red carpet out for us. But we made a difference, and the difference was they sent a memo out, and the memo said the public has a right to record as long as they don't interfere with what you're doing.
That's right. That's right.
So that was the difference. That, you know, I had to take that hit to make that happen. Now, some of you out there may say, well, that's not a big deal. Yeah, it is a big deal because it's your rights.
And when they start encroaching on them, and when you start giving up just a little bit of your rights, that's where it begins.
Right.
Okay.
So I corrected a problem. So we're going to be out there again this year. They didn't have it last year because of COVID. So we'll be out there this year.
It's always a good time. It's always a nice night.
And I don't know, maybe it'll just be me and Matt. Maybe some other auditors might want to come join and walk around. But we're going to go out there this year, not so much to do First Amendment. I think the First Amendment will be a byproduct. But we're looking to interview certain county officials.
I.e. the sheriff?
Well, I don't know, the sheriff, anybody of value out
The
there.
Emperor of Monmouth County
I'd
himself?
be happy to see a commissioner out there. We won't mention names who we're looking to see, but any one of those six-figure public servants that I have a few questions I'd like to ask them. And that's really going to be our purpose of
The
going out
phantoms
there.
of Monmouth County, those that collect the salary but can never be seen anywhere.
Right, like the guy in charge of the county park. Is he still alive?
Who, the like 90 or what's his name?
The first guy in charge of the parks
The
department.
geriatric. I don't know.
Yeah, the guy that comes in, he drinks his coffee, reads the newspaper, falls asleep, and goes home. So, anyway, just show you where I'm at. Let me see. Matt keeps getting in the camera there.
It's God's country out here.
Well, it's nice and quiet out here. That's what I like about it. It's quiet. Because I go to a park and I got to deal with dogs and kids fighting with their parents and that kind of thing. Out here it's just plain
Check the
peaceful.
mic and make sure it sound right, boys.
Always hear the parkway though. That will never go away. Always hear the parkway. But it's nice. In the summertime, it's just nice. It's nice out here. I love being out here when it's like 90 degrees. No wind, the sun's going down, and the trees are chirping. And so, anyway, that's my little. So this is John Van Dyke, New Jersey Exposed. Matt, Tim, just doing an impromptu. Is it impromptu?
I guess so.
Impromptu video. Until next time, people.